Remember when people used to say internet activism isn't real activism? Well, that's starting to change. We've started to see real policy changes in the Trump admin coming from pressure on X, formerly known as Twitter. Today, we're going to talk about some of the changes that the admin has made due to activism on social media and how you can join up and make a difference. Hey guys, I'm Tiffany and you're watching One in the Chamber, the show that teaches you how to be a better gun rights activist. And before we get into this video, I just want to take a second to let you know about GOA's annual convention, Goals. The Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit is set to be held August 9th through 10th of this year in Knoxville, Tennessee. Come out and visit some of your favorite manufacturers, participate in activism training, and hear from the top voices in the Second Amendment community. And the best part, it is free for GOA members. So sign up today using the link in the description. I know I'm excited, and I'm excited to see you there. Now back to the video. So is X, also known as Twitter, a real tool for policy change? We think so. There's a ton that's been going on these past few months of the second Trump administration, and it seems that key policy and decision makers from within the White House have their eyes trained on X. We know that Trump is active on his own platform, Truth Social, and while that remains the best place to hear from the president himself, many in his admin use X. And since Elon Musk bought the platform and worked to remove all of the pro-government censorship pressured on by the Biden admin, X has become more of a level playing field for ideas. In fact, CNN cited that X was more representative of the American electorate than any other social media platform.
Look at this, the party ID among those who regularly use X/Twitter for news. Now it's basically split between Democrats at 48%, Republicans at 47%. And what I should note, Mr. Berman, is this new overall makeup matches the overall electorate far better.
X is also the most popular news app. It's where breaking news happens. Biden announced his dropping out of the 2024 presidential race on X before his staff even knew about it. This platform is obviously the place to be for news, politics, and anything of that nature. But until recently, the power of social media hasn't been used to alert the administration to things they need to change or work at. X is emerging as a real tool for change in this way. This is why we're calling on all gun owners and GOA members to get on X. Make an account if you don't have one, follow GOA, and help us call out elected officials and fight for the Second Amendment. Okay, so we've established that X has become a great tool for contacting elected officials and informing them of issues that need their attention. But what actually gets them to make change? Well, just like in person, when you make a phone call or show up to a congressman's office, they can safely assume that others may be upset about the same issue. Doing the same in X yields the same effect. Take, for example, Jody Ernst's holdout on Pete Hegseth becoming Secretary of Defense. There were calls from big accounts on X to primary her, and that sent the followers of those accounts into her mentions. She couldn't tweet about anything without people calling her out about her defense secretary vote and promising consequences if she didn't vote for Hegseth. Finally, after a week of intense pressure, Ernst fell in line and voted for Hegseth. Now, that's certainly public policy, but how does this relate to the Second Amendment? Well, on February 7th, President Trump signed the executive order protecting Second Amendment rights. This order led to the creation of the Second Amendment Enforcement Task Force, whose purpose is to find violations of the Second Amendment and correct them. And the DOJ has obviously been paying attention to X, because we've seen great success in alerting the Justice Department about the actions of holdovers from the Biden administration. For example, we've recently made a video about the case US v. Taranto, where the Justice Department had moved to charge a man for illegal short-barreled rifle possession and illegal pistol possession for the same firearm, thanks to the firearm in question being equipped with the pistol brace. This obviously presented some serious issues for gun owners who own pistol braces, which are currently protected from this exact issue by multiple rulings for multiple courts. GOA and our friends at the Firearms Regulatory Policy Coalition, or FRAC, had previously sent a letter to the DOJ asking that they drop the SBR charge, avoiding establishing a bad precedent to target gun owners. We waited a bit, then we released a video and posted it on X. We informed our grassroots membership, and they worked on X to amplify our message and tell the DOJ what had happened. Within days, the DOJ announced that they were dropping the charge, and we heard that key people had seen our messaging on X. This is why getting involved on X is so important. So with that, we want to highlight 3 important cases that we're working to bring to the attention of the Department of Justice. First up, U.S. v. Hoover. This case should be familiar to you if you've been watching our channel for a bit. The case U.S. v. Hoover centers around Matt Hoover, aka CRS Firearms. Hoover was a prominent YouTuber who sold a gag gift called the Auto Keycard. The Auto Keycard was a metal card with an imprecise diagram of a lightning link, a drop-in auto steer, a component that enables an AR-15 to fire automatically. Hoover never made or sold any machine gun devices, only engraved images of them. ATF also had no evidence that any purchaser had ever created a lightning link using one of the cards. Regardless, Hoover was prosecuted anyway. In an unprecedented attack on the gun community as a whole, the Biden administration charged and successfully convicted Hoover for selling unregistered machine guns. Even at trial, the ATF was unable to show that the auto keycard's etching could be used to convert an AR-15 to a machine gun, instead relying on inducing a malfunction within a test firearm to enable automatic fire. This case is currently on appeal in the 11th Circuit. DOJ should urge the 11th Circuit to vacate Hoover conviction. Hoover should also be considered for a presidential pardon. Second is the case U.S. v. Adamiak. In this case, Navy sailor Tate Adamiak is currently in federal prison until 2042 after the Biden administration successfully prosecuted his sale of non-functional weapon replicas and parts kits online. None of these items were firearms, much less machine guns, as the Biden DOJ claimed, and ATF's experts had to significantly modify and tamper with the items to use them as evidence at trial. Adamiak has appealed his conviction to the 4th Circuit, which held the case in abeyance pending SCOTUS's decision in Vanderstock. In March 2025, DOJ filed a notice of supplemental authority on Vanderstock, rubbing this Biden-era weaponization in Adamiak's face and urging the 4th Circuit to affirm this conviction. DOJ should reverse course on this Biden-era attack on gun owners and urge reversal in the 4th Circuit. Tate Adamiak should also be considered for a presidential pardon. Finally, we want the DOJ to take a look at the case U.S. v. Peterson. In this case, George Peterson, who is an FFL holder, was charged with simple possession of an unregistered suppressor within his home. There were no other criminal charges at all. However, the 5th Circuit upheld the charge, finding that suppressors are not arms under the Second Amendment and therefore not protected. This, of course, is completely ridiculous. Suppressors are arms under the Second Amendment. We're requesting that DOJ withdraw its opposition to rehearing en banc because the panel clearly got that threshold question wrong. Ideally, DOJ would consider taking the position that suppressors are not only arms and presumptively protected, but that their heavy-handed regulation under the NFA is without historical precedent under Bruin. So you can see where our focus is on advocating for the Justice Department to take a look at these cases. But this is where we need your help. Please get on X and help us fight for the Second Amendment. And of course, we'll keep you updated as these cases progress and we continue to push back against the anti-gun nonsense of the past 4 years. That's it for today, guys. I'll see you next time.